Black souls, black souls. Ain't touring the black souls. Black souls. Black souls. Ain't touring the black souls. Black souls. Black souls. Ain't touring the black souls. Black souls, black souls. Ain't touring the black souls. Black souls. Black souls. Ain't touring the black souls. Black souls. Black souls. Ain't touring the black souls.
Or maybe I can do it like this. Well, no, because I need to see what's going on. Oh. How y'all doing? Happy Saturday. Oh, my God, I look like a kid.
Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year. Welcome to another episode of Black Sauce Podcast. I am A. Nicole, and I have some amazing friends, sisters with me today. So today we're going to do a sisterhood show about sisterhood. I'll get into the topics in a second, but first I'd like to introduce everyone. What side shall we start on? Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, man. I am, thank you, Nikki, for allowing me to be here. I am Coach Tara Jackson, also known as Respect the Queen LLC, lifestyle coach, business coach, mentor, the wounded healer, here to talk about sisterhood in its most raw, purest form. Thank you.
Tara is also my co-facilitator on tour with me. Our tour, A Seat at My Sister's Table, it kicks off tomorrow. Yes. So, to the ladies who are attending there, I hope you got your gold outfit. I can't stress this enough. If you ain't got it, it's a cold world outside my door.
And it's 18 degrees.
Yeah,
Go ahead and donate
it's a cold
your
world
ticket.
outside my door. So actually, can we get Tara's flyer, her poster? I'd like you all to see her services that she does. I'll flash it on the screen for her. But like she says, she's the wounded healer. She does speaking engagements, addiction and recovery. She'll get your business together, your branding together, marketing together. So make sure you hit her up at Coach Tara J. Are you still using that, sis?
Yeah.
Okay.
TaraJackson.com, Coach Tara J.
And Respect the Queen LLC. So make sure you hit her up there.
Thank you, Nick.
And next we got Miss Dominique.
My name is Dominique Lamb. I'm the author of What Happens in This House, which is a book about my journey from being in a cycle of abusive relationships to being in healthy relationships and actually teaching about them. So I teach a healthy relationships class at George Mason. I am in the process of starting a nonprofit to support that work, and I think that's all I do that's relevant to that.
Okay.
But she's an entrepreneur.
And she's also a Delta.
And she's a Delta.
Mm-hmm. What's the word? What y'all do?
Don't give me excuses now to ooh.
I will do
Where
that.
my Deltas at?
Delta?
There ain't no Deltas watching.
No.
Come on, sis. Come on, Sarah.
Okay. And last but not least, we have my sister, Carmen. Want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Carmen. Carmen. I'm April's big sister, and I'm an entrepreneur.
What's some of your businesses?
Right.
Okay. I just don't put me out there like that.
I know. I understand how you just want to sum it up sometimes.
I
You
kind of
just
like
want to hold back.
sit back.
Go on and brag about yourself a little
Right,
bit.
right.
Okay, so I'm the owner of Carmen Cameron Logistics, which is a transportation logistics company. I am also the owner of Sugar Sweets and Soul Food Catering. And I'm also a cosmetologist.
She did my braids
enough.
today.
That's enough.
She braided my hair this
I
morning.
had to, you gotta edit sometimes. You just throw out a few things.
So today's show, I wanted to do a sisterhood show. I've been wanting to do one for a long time, but I wanted to make sure I had sisters who were about sisterhood on it. I didn't just want to pick any woman up off the street. So today we're going to talk about the destruction of sisterhood and where it comes from, the me versus her competition, the I'm better than her complex, and how broken sisterhood correlates with how we deal with men, how we pick our men, relationships, all of that jazz. So, yes. Dominique, what do you think about the state of sisterhood, particularly black sisterhood at this point?
It's struggling right now. I think there's a few voices, loud voices like yours that are pushing the message, and I think there are some people who like kind of follow suit, like, yeah, I dig that, but in general I feel like it's struggling.
Okay.
It's real hard out here, and I think, not to like jump on anything else, but I think it really does mostly have to do with how we relate to men, especially in the black sisterhood. It's how we relate to men, how we feel like we're competing for men. There's the shortage. Yeah, I think it's struggling.
What about you, T?
I think it's beyond struggling. I think it's been struggling for a long time. I think that we abuse the word "hey sis." I think that there's a lot of competitiveness. There's a lot of pettiness. But I think it goes further than just in the manner in which we deal with men or feeling as though we're competing for men. I think it has a lot to do with the relationships or lack of relationships that we've had with our mothers and our own sisters, and being taught what sisterhood really means. And it's not about one-upping.
Right.
So I think that we have to go back to the core of why don't you know how to be a good sister to yourself, to your sisters, your immediate sisters, and then that's like trying to be a friend to everybody. You don't know how to be a friend to yourself. So you know, who taught us what sisterhood meant, and where did we drop the ball?
Right.
Yeah.
What you got, C?
Well, I agree with both of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
One, we compete, or we think we have to compete for the affection of a man, and we see each other as threats. And then again, what was modeled for us?
Right.
What did we see with our mother, our sisters, mothers, and other women? So I agree with both of them.
Okay. I wanted to. I like. What do you think our sisterhood should look like, as far as black women is concerned? What do you think? How do you think we should be with each other?
I would chime in on this morning when you all picked me up and we were having a conversation about being single moms and being in relationships. And at first I wasn't for sure that that was your blood sister. You know, because we do sis. We do cousins, you know, you've been in the family a long time, you family.
Right.
And she immediately shifted your perspective and loved on you until you could actually receive what it was that she was trying to say.
Right.
That's sisterhood for me. To be able to tell you the truth in love.
Yeah.
And there not be any spite or
Right.
harsh feelings or I'm not even going to talk to her no more after, you know, after this moment. We just we continued to move. You know, it flowed. And it was in love.
Right.
So that's what sisterhood
That's
looks
what it
like
should
to
look
me.
like. Yeah. What about you?
I think like building each other up. What I see in terms of the destruction of sisterhood is really around, like, I hate to keep going back to it, but that competition. Like, in order for me to have my shine, you can't shine. So I can't help you if I'm trying to do me. Like, I got to get my bag. I got to be focused on my businesses. So that means I can't be looking out for you.
Right.
But it doesn't work that way. I think actually if you are building up other people, that helps you build yourself.
Right.
So but I feel like as women, that's not our, maybe it's the pressure as a woman that you got to be everything. You got to be superwoman. So maybe that makes us feel insecure. Like, well, I can't really, I can't be doing what you're doing. I can't help you do that. And I got to stay right here. And I got to be the best. And I got to make the most money. And it's like, it's not always about that.
Right. So I want to, I was thinking, where was the disconnect? I know about mom and sisters and, being it modeled, but there used to be sisterhood amongst women, we used to watch each other's children. We used to cook for each other's children. We used to do a lot of things. When do you think it was just destroyed? Or do you think it's always been that way? Has there ever been good sisterhood amongst us?
Well, I don't recall much of watching each other's kids or, cooking for each other. I don't recall much of that.
But our previous generations, I feel
right.
That's what I thought of when you said that.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think it was out of a
ours.
need. There was this collective
need,
this collective right, and you didn't have a choice but to come together if you were going to survive. Now I think we feel like we are our own little islands, and we can make it. I don't, I don't need no help. I got here, on my own.
Now you get yours.
And so you get yours. I might reach back a little bit and help you, but I got to be on my grind, so I can't, But I think maybe it comes from that. We don't have the same immediate need, that same obvious need. It's not like if I don't help you, I'm going to watch you fall.
Right.
It's if I don't help you, you're not going to succeed as much as you could, we don't think that it's critical, even though it is.
I think some women want to see you fall.
I was gonna say that too. We it seems like we celebrate when the demise of other women, or we celebrate their misfortune.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly. As I said, I don't much recall seeing the coming together. Honestly, outside of church. I don't see the watching other sisters' kids or cooking for them or their family or whatever when those kinds of needs arise outside of church. But I have seen the celebrating someone else's fall, and I think that part of it has to do with it makes me feel better about me.
Yeah,
If
because
you-
so there's an insecurity you already had.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Where do you think that insecurity comes from?
Wow.
Well, maybe back to what Tara was saying about if you don't get built up when you're a child,
Right.
especially from your mom and other women, and that actually just makes me think that as young girls, I'm sure you all experienced where you just had to grow up really fast. You were expected to be responsible and not necessarily an adult, but you were expected to grow up fast. And so you don't get all the same attention and love and encouragement and people just building you up,
Right.
because they're just trying to help you. It's we got to get this done. We don't have time, for the pretty stuff.
Right.
So maybe it comes from that a little bit.
I would say, looking back at my mom's era, because when you made the comment, Nikki, like you said, I didn't think about our era when you said that. I thought about my mother's era, my grandmother's era. I didn't think about that. But then we have to be honest about the destruction of Black communities, Black families, the destruction of two-parent households. Now you got single mothers raising girls, and your babies are becoming mothers because they're taking on motherly duties. So you're not taught to appreciate yourself, to appreciate your sisters, self-esteem, self-love. Then you have, the 80s where crack just completely wiped out our neighborhoods. So the ball gets dropped, and now you have a generation behind us, because I'm 38, where those sisters are definitely, it's like, hey, listen, I'm cutthroat. There are no ethics, there are no morals, there's no respect for each other's lanes. It's about securing the bag.
Yeah.
That's it, and that's all. Whatever I have to do to make it to that next level, and I will step on your back to get there.
Right.
Because I think for us as Black people, it always feels like there's not enough.
Right.
There's not enough spots. There's not enough room. There's not enough money. There's not enough positions. And so we're all just like, listen, sis, I love you, but I'm trying to get there.
Right. Or there can only be one.
There can only be
Right.
one. Right. That feeling of there's only one spot. There's only one man. There's only one car. There's only one house. There's only one job. So now it becomes survival of the fittest. And how long have we been in that space?
Exactly.
Right.
Survival of the fittest.
Exactly. It's that slavery mentality.
Absolutely.
And piggybacking on what you said about the single parent households. So little girls are not receiving the validation that they need from fathers.
Absolutely.
I think
Come
we
on
have
in.
so many grown women walking around. They look okay, but they're really not okay with themselves.
Right.
And I think that's a big part of the I need to see you fail so I can feel better about me.
Okay.
Right. And what I've done. And you know what? I'm thinking about like my mom and her generation. When you have those single parent households and your focus is on I gotta, take care of my family, I gotta provide, you don't have the time to invest the way you were invested in. And I don't think it necessarily occurs to you. Like, a lot of times you'll hear parents say, like, I keep a roof over your head, I do da-da-da-da. But they forget, like, especially fathers, I hear say, like, I support my family, I do all these things. But it's like, but what do you do emotionally to support your family? And I always say, I'm the only girl on one side of my family, so I have a lot of male cousins, brothers, et cetera. And I always say to them, like, so what you're telling me is your wife, girlfriend, whoever can replace you as long as they can get their own paycheck or somebody else's
Find
paycheck.
another paycheck.
Right.
Because if that's literally all you bring to the table, but I think that to bring it back around, the generation before us, maybe the past 2 generations, has had to take on that like masculine role where it's like, I just got to support the family.
Right.
I can't really invest.
They were too busy actually living.
Right.
And taking care of the duties to live.
And trying to understand how to do that because they didn't necessarily see it that way. Like maybe before them, they did get that investment, they did get that encouragement, but they maybe lived in a 2-parent household where it was a little bit more balanced. Then then they got hit with it, and it's like, well, how do I do this? And they don't, like maybe it's just you don't really know.
I think something else that aids in the destruction of sisterhood is shit that our moms passed down to us about their relationships with women.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't trust bitches. Don't them bitches ain't your friend. Them girls ain't your friends. Seeing how your mom interacts with women, seeing how your aunt interacts with women, your sisters, your grandmother, and you think, these are your models that you have.
Right.
And like if you grow up watching your mom and your sister quarrel, your mom and your best friend or her best friend quarrel, or mom and grandma quarrel,
Right.
what are you going to think about sisterhood? What are you going to think about womanhood? You're not going to have a good aspect, and you're probably going to think that sister on that block is just like your mom's best friend or your mom's adversary, whoever she is. And you're programmed to think that sisterhood is turmoil, sisterhood is fighting, sisterhood is stealing somebody's man, or whatever. And I think that the biggest component is like your girls are watching you, and I don't say that from a judgmental whatever, but they're absorbing a lot of your interactions with other people.
Right.
They're watching how you maneuver, and that's how they're going to maneuver. And that's where you get those generational curses from.
Right.
So that's what I think.
I agree.
Well, I think that's part of it. That's
Okay.
part of it.
It's very complex.
I can't say exactly sure where from, but just personally viewing my mother's interactions or lack of interactions with women, or some of the I say hating, like a woman's doing her thing. Like for instance, Mary J. Blige came out. And when she came out, was she not banging?
She was
doing
banging
her thing. And I
She's
remember
still
mom
banging.
like, oh, she ain't all that. And I remember just thinking,
Yeah.
hating. And I saw that, and I was like, that ain't me.
Right.
I'm not going to
Right.
do that.
Right.
And I don't function like that.
Yeah.
I am very inclusive, loving. I embrace every woman. So I can't say that it's just the modeling.
Right.
You know, it's a good question. What is going on
It's
Inside.
this mentality of like this struggle that I see with women, like especially Black women. There's this struggle that's like a connotation of being a Black woman, and so when you see Black women who aren't struggling or who are making it or who are happily married, their kids are doing well. Like when you see that, it's like it does something to you if you don't have that.
If you don't,
Right. It puts that mirror to your face
I
and
was
you're
just
looking.
going to say, it's a mirror. It's a mirror. I mean, if we're going to have a conversation, we have to have an honest conversation and say, okay, what's going on with me?
Yeah.
And why do I feel a certain way about myself? And I think for us as sisters as a whole, because you have 4 very transparent women here, but we have a hard time being honest as Black women. We have a hard time being transparent. We have a hard time being accountable, and we have a hard time being corrected because of the stigma of a Black woman and carrying all this weight on her, and she's got it, and she's superwoman. We talked about it the other day, like we don't complain. Like 10,000 things hit your plate, and as a Black woman, how dare you complain?
Right.
You just keep taking those body shots.
Right.
And so somewhere in there, we somewhere in there, it's like I can't. My sister can't say to me, "You messing up."
Right.
You know, the Black man can't say to me, "You're messing up," because we're automatically defensive in our position. Of, don't you know what we've been through?
Right.
Don't you know I carried this whole family? Don't you know I did this? And so we hold on to that struggle story versus saying, like you just said, the sister who went to Howard, who graduated, who got a nice car, nice job. We find ourselves being envious, not because we hate that sister, because she's a mirrored reflection of what we have not done in our own lives.
Come on in.
We have not done in our own lives. So now I'm angry at you. I'm going to make you the problem because I don't want to face, I ain't did shit.
Yeah.
I've done nothing in
Or
my
I
life.
have, and I just still haven't gotten
I
it.
haven't,
Right.
I haven't gotten there.
Yeah.
So then that comes that society that doesn't really, this generation skip where we don't want to work for it.
Right.
Right.
We're
Right.
very
Right.
results oriented.
Right.
Like,
Microwave.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
Microwave.
Right. I want the status, but I don't want to put the
I don't wanna put
grind
the work
in to get it. And then how dare you come up in life?
Right.
And I'm still here, especially when people know where you came from.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Where you
Yes.
came from. How could you be that girl? I
And
remember
they
a
gotta
girl
keep
saying to
reminding
me,
you.
when I went to Africa and I went to Ghana and I went to Egypt. Well, how could a girl like you? What does that mean?
Right.
What does that mean? Because you grew up in a very functional home and I grew up in a very dysfunctional
Yes.
home.
So it's supposed to be
So
her.
It's supposed
we're
to be
her,
her.
Right.
and not me,
Right.
Not you.
not me. But that goes back to, I have to always self-check. That goes back to what she wasn't taught.
Right.
Her internal issues. Don't project, because we do a lot of projecting
Right.
Yes.
about how we feel about ourselves onto other people. So it's a lot of lack. It's a lot of lack of accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this generation after us, it's been glamorized to be able to put other people down. I was getting my hair done, and my hairstylist was watching Married to Medicine, and I had
Okay.
never seen it before sitting in her chair. And so I'm watching it, and these are professional women
Doctors.
just tearing each other down.
Wow.
Like I was like, are they acting? Like I thought it was scripted because I was just like, how could you? I mean, they were talking about each other's weight. I'm looking at the girl. They keep telling her how big she is, and I'm like, I would love to look like that.
Right.
Like,
And you would think at that level of achievement,
Right.
they would be so beyond
but
that.
you can just tell that insecurity, you just keep. You grow up with it. You hold on to it. It doesn't matter what you achieve.
Yep.
There's so many
Right,
women, I'm sure, who are
right.
looking at them like, I want to be there.
Right.
And
right,
feeling
right.
some insecurity because of where they are, and yet they're competing with each other. And
But
it's
that
like,
just
you
shows
don't
and
need to do
proves you
that.
still got to do the work.
Right.
No matter what degree you
Yeah.
have, no matter what car you have, no
Yeah.
matter what house you have. That's why we see so many miserable so-called celebrities or the reality TV, I call them
Right.
B-list celebrities, where they have this fame, they have this spotlight, but they're still so damaged on the
Right.
inside.
Right.
Right.
It's easier to do the work to attain things
Then
Yes.
it is,
to work on
come on,
yourself.
sis.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
easier.
And then you get to be on a show and get paid and have people watch you, have other young black girls watch you as that example of black sisterhood. This is what it
Right.
looks like. I mean, you're gonna go
But
on
then
a
how-
reality
I'm
show
sorry.
and be
Girl, we
catty
about to-
and you know, tear each other down. You need some, but you gonna have on your red bottoms though,
Right.
And you know,
While
you
walking
can
all over
afford right. So it was really disheartening because I'm watching it because this, you know, my hairstylist is watching it and she's laughing at them saying little things and I'm just like,
No, this is
This
not
has
how. This is
become
not sisterhood. Right.
entertainment.
Right.
This is not sisterhood.
But is it glorified? Is it by design that
Mm-hmm.
we create these shows that portray Black sisterhood in a certain light? Like
course.
these women don't know how to behave. Because I think about it and where I'm at current day at 38. And don't get me wrong, I'm not free from any issue in life. But I don't have drama with the sisters
Yeah.
that I'm friends with.
Yeah.
So is it what's being glorified? Is this really real? Is this really the plight of Black sisterhood? Or is it what it looked like?
I think it's a combination. I think that I like you. I don't have that issue. I think I have worked through a lot of things, and I was fortunate to not see too much of it as a child in terms of sister to sister not working out. But I think that you have your girls, right, that you're cool with. They hold you down, like you don't have any issues with them. But then you watch this example that's not true for you,
Right.
but you
right.
watch it, and
Right.
so then it becomes like, well, these are my girls, but I don't know them bitches.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I don't.
Because
I'm
I
not
see it
fooling with
online.
that.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
I see it
Yeah.
online. I see sisters being very nasty to one another and being quick to tear each other down without any rhyme or reason.
Yeah,
Right.
we don't see it as a universal thing. To me, and speaking in general, it's not like when you see that sister on the street, you think of her as your sister,
Right.
and that you would help her. It's like I have my core, I have
Right.
my sisters, but I don't know her. You know, like I don't.
So
that's
do you
not my
feel
sister.
that? Let me ask y'all this question because I've experienced it like a lot. Where you're out in public and you smile at sis.
And sis
And you
looking at
wave
you
or
like,
hey girl or good morning, and you get the real nasty back. Ooh,
Yeah, or at work. At work,
shit, anywhere.
if you are in, you know, any type of ladder involved, any type of corporate ladder, wherever you work, there's that. If you doing your thing and you making it, there's always someone where it's like all they see is what you taking away from them.
Wow.
Right,
And
right.
It's,
You know?
exactly. It's like
Right.
it's yours. It can't be taken from you.
Exactly.
Right.
It's enough for you too.
Exactly.
Like,
It's
I know
enough for
exactly what you
everyone.
Yeah.
Chanel _ Chanel, I think I'm saying her name right. She says that the show that you were speaking of, it does glorify the disunification and dysfunction of Black sisterhood. And we buy, Shanta Hutchins says the problem is we buy into what we see. And I was thinking of that when you were talking, Tara, like when we watch shit on TV, it normalizes it for us. And I don't think that that's by what's the word I'm looking for?
By chance.
By chance. I think that is
Design.
by design.
absolutely.
I
And
think
it's
that they
Black
want
women
to
who are producing these
right,
shows.
but I think but they get bought. I think that they glorified our disunification so that when we're out in these streets, we're doing it in real life.
Yep.
And let me tell you something. People know Black women are powerful. They know that we make the motherfucking world go round. But if we stay at each other's necks and we don't unify, you know,
Yeah.
then what good are we, you know, as a fist? So
Yeah.
they have to keep us separated.
Right.
On social media, as you said, Tara, but I don't think that this is something that happened by chance. I think that there is something going on where they want to separate us, and I think that that's why there's this reality TV shows out with us fighting with us at each other's necks about fucking men and
Right.
about dumb shit.
Right.
But you know, like Tara talks about, where's the accountability?
Oh yes,
Regardless of what is being shown to us.
right.
You know, where is the accountability for our own selves
Mm-hmm.
and what, you know, we're going to allow to influence us?
Right, that's true. That's true. I wanted to ask, what do you think about when you hear a sister say, I don't have female friends?
I think it's sad.
Oh,
Why?
That's so unfortunate.
I think it's really sad because when I hear someone say that, I think they're speaking from a place of hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're speaking from a place of distrust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They probably feel that they have been betrayed
Mm-hmm.
by women,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a hell of a thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
I would have to say, and I'll speak from my own experience. Don't low battery now. I need you to stay home for 20 more percent. I would say my own experience when I realized, because I've said those words out my own mouth, especially in my 20s. When I recognized in my 30s, I do a lot of self-check, what was really going on with me and my distrust for women and why I had more male friends than female friends and what that was all about. And there was two factors. I did not trust myself to make good decisions as it related to women because I did not trust myself with my mother. I did not trust the relationship that was there. I did not trust her as a woman to protect and nurture and take care of me and be there for me. And then I go out in the streets to get that, and I come across other women who are also don't trust their mothers,
Right.
have bad relationships, low self-esteem, no fathers or whatever. And so you kind of breed this ground of women who, from the most sincerest part of their heart, would love to have a sister, would love to have a sister, but we don't know how.
Yeah.
And no one has the ability to say, I don't know how.
Yeah.
My mother didn't raise us, you know, in a manner in which there was this loving, caring, you protect your sister, she protects you, blah,
Right.
blah, 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 blah. And so then you're expected to go out into the world, which really irritates my soul for us to expect people to know how to do things they've never been taught.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
you don't know what
You don't know. You don't know what you
Right,
don't know.
right.
So here you're out there attempting to do this sisterhood thing. I went back to a lot of girls in my high school years that I cared for deeply. I thought I loved them. I didn't understand what that meant because my idea of love was distorted back then. But I've had to go back and say, listen, I am sorry at 15 that I did X, Y, and Z because I didn't know how to love me. I couldn't love you. I mean, and that's, we're talking about relationships with men, with friends, with mom or whatever. If you don't know,
Right.
you can't. And so how many of us are calling each other friends and we don't even know what the hell that means?
Friend is.
Because y'all go to the club together.
Right,
You
that's
know,
friendship.
Right.
Right.
Or like the
Right,
same
right.
shows. I was thinking to myself the other day, a lot of we hold men to this. You don't know how to be a boyfriend. You don't know how to love me. You don't know how to do this and you don't know how to do that. But it's the same thing with women and sisterhood.
Right.
You know, a lot of sisters don't know how to be sisters. And a lot, just like we've been hurt by men, and sometimes we're cautious, and sometimes we put a wall up, and sometimes we like, fuck men, they fuck niggas, and they this and they that. We do the same thing with our sisters.
Yeah.
We put that wall up. We say we don't trust you. You know, they evil. You know, they sneaky. That's
Right.
why I chill with men.
Right.
That's why this. You know, like we push that same shit onto our sisters,
Yeah.
and we don't know that we're weighing them on the same scale that we do men.
Right.
That part right there, the judgment. I think that a lot of women don't have female friends because of the judgment that they think they're gonna get,
I think it's a
and they
cop-out.
may actually get, but they think they're gonna get from other women. You know, like if you're not doing, there's this idea, like what you were saying, like your friend is somebody that watches the same shows as you, or you go out with, or that you agree on everything. And I don't look at it that way. My sister and I don't have to agree on everything,
Right.
but there has to be a level of respect for each other, and you know, like it grows from there. I don't think that happens enough for women to feel comfortable
Right.
being friends with other women.
What do you think is a cop out?
I'm not sure. I'm not so sure that it's total judgment. I think that there is judgment. I think that we can be very judgmental and critical of each other. But I think it's a cop out. I think it's a cop out for being freaking responsible and accountable for yourself. I don't really trust sisters because I ain't willing to look at my own shit.
Well, yeah.
I ain't willing to get honest about where I've dropped the ball in these sisterhood, because we will forgive men for all kind of shit
over and over again,
but we won't forgive our sisters for the things. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that you can forgive people without continuing to be friends. Let me get clear, because I got a couple of them. But reality is that we will give men a pass where we won't give our sisters a pass.
Exactly.
And we will
For the same thing.
This sisterhood movement that I've seen in the last 4 or 5 years is about ego and being the one, the Messiah that's come in and has saved sisterhood. It's not really about healing. It's not really about getting honest about where you have fell in life, whatever that, and I don't like to say failed, but where you have made mistakes and where you have shortcomings and flaws and where you just, you have some issues that you haven't worked out and you haven't dealt with. And so you don't really have positive solutions to them or whatever. I think it's accountability. It's accountability.
And I think it still goes back to that validation by a man. Why are you so quick to forgive a male?
Right.
And you're not. What
Daddy
is it that a
issues.
Man can give you that a woman can't? That your sister can't give you.
We also expect so much more from women than we do men. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, we look at men like, I wasn't really expecting that much from you anyway, but I was expecting more from this woman that you was cheating on me with,
and she don't even know you.
So I'm going to hold her accountable, but I'm not going to hold you accountable. I'm going to forgive you.
It's easier to go for her than it is to go for you.
Because then you have to be accountable about the reality of your damn relationship.
Right.
Then you have to be honest about you knew he was cheating. You have to be honest about you knew you should have left 10 moons ago.
Exactly.
So it's easier to
you have
say.
to deal with yourself.
You have to again. You have to come back. This is all about you.
And this is stuff that we've seen modeled by our mothers, our aunties. So part of that right there can come from what we've seen, how our mothers and aunties and stuff handle situations with men and other women and so forth.
Right. Because see, I come from a family. On one side of the family, if you didn't abide by the family rules, you were, ostracized from the family. Like, it ain't no comeback. My mother hasn't spoken to her sisters. I'll be 39 this year. 39 years that there's no sisterhood. There's no so there's no model there. So when you have no model, where do you go?
Right.
There is no queen mother.
Right.
There's a disconnect between the elders and the youth. Where is the queen mother? She's not there. My grandmother is 97 years old. I still lean on her for a lot of wisdom.
Right.
But she's 97 years old. So you got this between our generation and the current generation. Where does it become our responsibility to teach those sisters? Because we can talk shit all day long, but where does it become our responsibility to pull sis to the side? Because I can remember being at church where somebody was going to put that shawl over the legs if you came to church. Inappropriate. Now it's okay. So,
or it's okay, or instead of the correction in love, it's
right.
Instead of, because you don't know this sister situation. That might honestly be
all she got.
So you got a few items you can have or you can buy her something. So, but we rather
that's true.
Sit back and judge her.
That's true.
We gonna
us feel better about ourselves.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Why do you think it's hard to compliment women?
I don't find it hard. I do it. So
I think.
Well, not you.
We got to think outside.
Why do you think it's hard for women to compliment other women? Why is it so? Why do they grit their teeth when they see a bad chick or she got work done, or they made her real so and so, or she, it's like I've seen. What I've seen is instead of complimenting, they'll immediately go into a way to kind of attack or tear down something that a woman has or an accomplishment and devalue it. The same energy that they could use to build it up or compliment. All right, sis, I see you. They'll find something. And you can see it in their eyes. They looking. They trying to find something, to tear her down. And when they find it, they all right. They say it, well, she ain't so-and-so and so, and they on their fucking way.
Right.
And why?
I would, as you were saying that, I was wondering how much of it is nobody has ever celebrated them. Nobody
Right.
has ever celebrated them
Right.
and empowered them and motivated them and loved on them, nurtured them and took care of them. Hell, it took a long time before I could receive a compliment and wasn't looking for the angle.
Yeah.
What you want?
Or felt obligated to give one back.
And not just
Or
receive it.
downplay
Not
it.
just receive it.
Or not receive. Nah, I'm all right.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
stop it. You know, we don't. I don't think that we're comfortable with receiving compliments anyway. That's another. We can put that to the side.
Right.
But I just always like, why? Like, if I point out work, whatever, oh, those some nice boots she got on. If I'm in a room full of maybe 4 women, at least one of them gonna, swinch up her face and say something negative.
Yes.
That's self-hate.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that's because they're rotten on the inside.
That's self-hate.
Yeah.
That's self-hate. That's low self-worth. That's no self-esteem, no confidence. So then at what point does it become your responsibility?
Right. Well, when do you become aware of it? How do you become aware of it?
Does it become whose responsibility that?
Their own.
Person,
Their own.
yeah.
They're that own person. I mean,
How
for,
do you
for
even
me,
know? How are you aware
hell,
that
your
you're
life
doing
is a
it?
mess.
Right.
But how do you know that that is the reason? How do you know that you are that girl that's hating? How do you know what I'm saying? Because when you're in the middle of it, like when you were talking about your 15-year-old self, how do you get there?
Oh, man.
I'm just asking, like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's where friendship come in. I see my friend, don't do that. Let me talk to you. When you did so and so and so, like why? Or if I'm in a conversation with a sister and a sister walks by, or we see something on TV or something regarding another sister, and she goes to say some fucked up shit, I check her.
Yeah.
Why you doing that? You
But
know?
you know what? And here's the other thing too. How do you not know?
Yeah,
You
I was about to
yourself.
say, you
How
know.
do you not
If
know?
I think when we were talking about it being normalized,
I was gonna say
so
normalized.
much, if you see everybody else in your vision, your immediate vision doing it, then it feels normal to you. It feels, even if it is like, it doesn't make you feel good necessarily, it still feels normal. So it still feels like what you are supposed to do. And so I agree with, whenever you have that opportunity, if you are aware of it, setting an example for someone who's not. But, you know, for those pockets where it's like those people are the ones who are watching the reality TV and they're going and mimicking that in their lives, and that's what they see their moms doing, their aunties, whatever, they when do they get to see that other example, and how often do they get to see it so they can make that transition? You know what I mean?
Okay. I wanted to talk about the me versus her complex, I like to call it. I see a lot of things, especially on social media. I'm Lauryn Hill, you Nicki Minaj.
Oh, God, yeah.
Or there's a picture of Lisa Bonet in some baggy jeans and, you know, some flowery hippie shit. And then you have a picture of a young lady in lingerie. And it's like I'm Lisa Bonet, you know, wild child hippie, you know, whatever. And that's you or her or whatever. Like, why do you feel like you have to do stuff like that?
Yeah.
Where do you think
it's
these
us
things
that
come
puts it out
from?
there. Yeah, there you go. I don't think
You
it's
know?
us that puts it out there. I think that in the social media world, that things get dropped, you know, in this Shark Tank and piranhas, and it takes one person, and then you already have these. You take that information, you take that misinformation, and you drop it in a room full of misguided, misunderstood, unloved, self-hating, low self-worth people. And then for women, and I can remember this from my entire, young teenage years to adolescence, is as a woman, you gotta choose. You can't encompass all things.
of them.
You have to be in this box.
Either
and how
or.
dare you come out of it and say, I can do all of that.
All of that.
Right.
I can be sexy. I can be sensual. I can be conservative. I can do
Right.
all of that. So, I mean, you throw that out there with those type of people,
You're gonna
it
eat
catch
it up.
like wildfire.
Another thing I don't like is when I hear women say, I'm not like most girls. I like so and so and so.
What does that mean?
I hate to hear that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not most girls so and so and so. Or, you know, I'd be like, what? The fuck you talking about?
Just tell me about you.
You know?
Don't talk about
Right? Why do we gotta
anybody
bring
else.
in most? Right? Why do we gotta bring in most girls? We talking about you.
And you don't even know most girls.
And
Exactly.
you right, you're already setting yourself up for a competition.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I think no, I'm sorry. I know a lot of that comes from men telling us,
Kidding.
you know, oh, you different. Oh,
Yeah.
you this. You know, they put us on this fake ass pedestal, or they invite us to competitions against other women that we did not sign up for.
Yes.
But why did we bite it?
Right.
Well, and yeah.
Right, or
do we fight
they'll say, "Oh, you not like most girls," or "You not like so and so up the street." You so you know.
And I
why are
always
you
come back with, well, this friend, this friend, this friend, this friend. I always come back and bring back all the women in my life that are just that way, whatever we're talking about. Or, like, no, it's not, I'm not rare. I'm, you know, like, not to put down anything that I'm doing, but don't make it seem like we ain't out there, because we are, because there are women that I'm helping to be that, and there are women who've helped me, so they're out there.
right.
But that's we don't always take all of the teachable moments. We don't take advantage of all the teachable moments.
No, I just think that some of us just want to be the baddest bitch. You
Right.
know that I've seen a girl ask another girl where she got her outfit from, and she lie,
Yeah, or where they got the hair done.
and she lie.
Don't we all know
Lord.
that imitation is the highest form of flattery?
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, I've seen that too.
Like,
Or
why
be
would you
mad.
lie or be
She
mad?
asked me where I get my hair
Right,
done.
like the shit
I'ma
was
tell
made
her.
custom for you. You picked that shit off a motherfucking rainbow rack that probably everybody else is privy to, and now all of a sudden you want to, it's mine. I don't want to tell you where I got it from. Why?
I think it comes back to a lot of self-hate.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of, and I don't say this to give women or to give people a pass in general, but we are hurting.
Yeah.
We have been, I mean, when you encounter a woman who is, you know, very bitter, very mean, can be very promiscuous or kind of out there, you got to come back to, okay, what the hell happened?
Yeah. What
And
are
you
you
got
medicating?
women, you got black women, let's be clear, black women are holding a lot of goddamn secrets
Yeah.
and things that they have been abused and molested and raped and been holding and been holding and been holding, and now here you are 20 years later and you still holding all of this pain. It can only be misdirected.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It can only be geared out towards everybody you come across, especially those you come across doing better than you.
Right. It's that there's only one slot.
Yeah.
We've been tokens in our community for so long that it's like we buy into that. Like, I see it a lot on social media where it's like Beyonce versus Rihanna, or you know, like there can only be one female rapper.
Right.
And so it's like, well, who? Oh, Cardi B out, so Nicki Minaj is out. You know, like it's like we
That's
have
industry.
embraced
Yeah, I was about
that
to say, 'cause
tokenism.
they don't do that with men. They don't do that in men's circles.
Okay, so let's go there.
Oh.
Let's go there. Why is it like that? Because it's a patriarchal society.
Absolutely. Black Queen Rain says that when women don't disclose where they get their stuff from, they're afraid that the friend will look better in the same fit or the same hairstyle. And I've had sisters tell me that they intentionally, you know, when they're going out to the club or they're going out in social circles with friends, girlfriends, they will intentionally see this a sister has on an outfit that is ill fitted to her shape. She looks bad in it. Her hair, her track is showing, whatever, and they won't say shit because they want to shine.
Yeah.
They want to be the baddest
Oh,
chick in the fucking group. And I'm like, are you serious?
Wow.
Why not
They are
everybody
not your
be on?
friends.
Right.
Right. And if her hairstyle looks better on her, or if your hairstyle looks better on her, then like let her look good
And change your hairstyle.
and change yours.
Right.
It's like let her look good.
What were you
Yeah.
going to say?
No, I was just listening.
Oh, I thought you had something to say about the,
Well, I mean, it
not-
appears to be. I'm sorry, Nick. I didn't mean to cut
No,
you.
you good.
It appears to be a lot of cattiness and pettiness, and it sounds. And I'm sure the listeners are like, especially the men are like, this is so trivial, like bullshit, because they don't necessarily have these quarrels or
Right.
these issues. I mean, but I mean, when you have been convinced that there is a lack of on all planes, I mean, it really does come back to survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, ain't a lot of men out here, so we think, and a lot of good men out here, so we think.
They
I got
all in
all
jail.
these kids to raise, all these black men locked up, and so you see, it's this program.
Yeah.
This program, a lot of people are operating off the program.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that there's no good black men left.
I don't believe that
And I
either.
think
I
that
don't
that's
believe
something.
there's a shortage.
I don't. Thank you. I don't believe that. I think that that's something that's put out to
Exactly.
us to irritate. You know,
depress
and
us.
to irritate this illness that we have to compete with each other. You know, to feed more more food to the piranhas. Yeah, now we're gonna tell them that it's a shortage of black men. Now we're
Right.
gonna tell them that all the good black men are gone to make them compete even more.
Right.
I don't believe that. You know.
Who's putting that out there though?
That you got that on a Hollywood level.
Yeah.
You got that on politics. You got that in religion. I mean, you can go to any church on a Sunday, ain't nothing but women in there
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah.
Ain't no brothers filling up the churches.
But they'll teach a woman how to be a good wife in church, but won't say
Ooh,
shit about a
virtue.
man about being a
That
good
virtue.
husband.
And then they actually have what the virtue is mixed up.
I have read this quote. I forget who said it. That a woman's virtue is man's greatest invention.
Oh wow.
It's the perfect way to keep a woman in control. Like, well, this is what you do. That goes to the slut shame and everything we were talking about before. It's a perfect way to keep her in check.
But we reinforce it. I've seen misogyny, and I will always say some of the biggest misogynists I know are women.
But they embrace
You know?
it and they judge other women because this dude over here is
I was-
judging that woman, and I
girl,
want
listen.
him.
And I
So
want
I'ma
him to
jump
like me. I want to feel
Exactly.
different.
So I want him
I'ma
to
say,
think
yeah,
that I'm the good girl. I want him to think highly of me. So I'm gonna stay in here with him and be like, yeah,
I
I'm
was
not
just
like
getting
that
ready
at
to
all.
say that.
I'm not like those girls.
Yeah,
I'm not
I'm
like
not like
most
them.
girls. And so yeah, we promote it because we think we're promoting ourselves as something other than that.
Right.
Like we were
Right.
talking about with the hip hop a couple weeks ago. Like you listening to this rapper degrade women on, whatever track, and you're like, but he ain't talking about me.
Right.
Yes, he is talking about you.
It was like, well, is it
Well, I
okay
mean,
for
that's
him to be talking, even
Right.
if he ain't talking about you, is it okay for him to talk about your sister like that?
I say they talking
You know?
about you. They talking about all
Right.
women when
They
they
talking
do
about
that.
all
Exactly.
women.
That's who they're
They're talking
directing
about
it at.
you.
But the thing the narrative you're giving yourself
Right, the
that
lie you're telling yourself.
the lie you're telling yourself, like that is not about you.
So that you can enjoy it
Right.
without shame.
So that you can sit with them and judge other women.
But they're talking about your sister, though.
Right.
You know, they might not be talking about you, but they're talking about your sister. This conversation that we're having is why a seat at my sister's table is important. We got black women. We got so much shit on our shoulders. You know, we got so much hurt and pain, and we're carrying this luggage, and our back hurts. And I just want sisters to help each other unpack their baggage.
Yeah.
You know, I want to strengthen sisterhood. I want to bring back tribism amongst sisters, and I want sisters to have a space, be in a comfortable space where they're not going to be judged. Where ain't nobody gonna talk shit about you, and 9 times out of 10, it's somebody in here that been through the same shit you done been through.
Right.
You know,
right.
And I want to have that space for it. And I'm so glad that Tara has agreed to come on the road with me and do a seat at my sister's table. I know my sister's coming whenever she can get away from her businesses, you know. But Dominique is going to be at the kickoff. But please get your tickets for a seat at my sister's table. They are available at www.aseatatmysisterstable.com. We are on tour. Our tour kicks off tomorrow in D.C. We'll be in Atlanta, then New York, and so on and so on. And make sure you're following us on social media, A Seat at My Sister's Table. Do you have social media? Are you active on your social media? No? Okay.
No.
Dominique, tell them where they can find your info. We're going to wrap this up.
Okay. The book page is at What Happens Book on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. My Instagram is at MZDelta1913, Ms. Delta 1913. And
Yeah.
Quick little shameless plug.
Come
I
on.
just started my brokerage, real estate brokerage.
Hey,
See
congrats.
how that celebration?
Congrats.
And that is at Haven Firm.
Okay.
Oh, no.
All right. So like I said, go check out the a seat at my sister's table.com to get your tickets. Sis, you want to plug, Tara? You need time?
Respect the Queen LLC.
Oh.
What else?
Coach Tara
J.
at Coach Tara. You can catch her www.respectthequeen.com. She provides a lot of services for you. I know she's transitioning, so I don't want to say one. And you like, no, I'm transitioning.
Yeah.
So,
She's multifaceted.
So, but yeah, she
Get
does
at
a
her.
lot of services, multifaceted. Can we get her flyer back on the screen, please, engineer? On the ones and twos. So, if you want to hear more about or continue the discussion about sisterhood, because tomorrow is going to pop. If y'all didn't get these tickets for this DC Toy Stop, you're going to be hurting. You're going to be hating life when you see these pictures bang tomorrow. Get your ticket. We're coming to your city, a seat at my sister's table. And this is Coach Tara's thing, her flyer. You can book her speaking engagements, hosting, personal development sessions, all types of jazz. I will see you next week.
All right.